It's the regular council meeting of Monday, December 13, 2021. Thank you to everyone for joining us again after our last public hearing. Just to note that this webinar is being recorded. The first item of business is adoption of minutes. We have the Governance and Operations Committee meeting of November 22nd, 2021, and the regular council meeting of November 22nd, 2021. The two sets of minutes are before you. The recommendation would be to adopt the minutes. And do I have someone to make that recommendation? Councillor Butler, and do I have someone to second? Councillor Gattafoni Robinson. Does anyone see any errors or omissions in these minutes?
Move adoption as circulated.
Okay, thank you very much. All in favor? Against, if any? Carried, thank you. So public question period. Anyone else from the public that has joined us that is new? I just want to take a quick scan of attendees. And I don't see any new names, and there's no one new that has come into the council chambers, I don't believe. So we'll go forward from public question period. The item number 3 is communications. This is a proclamation request for Canadian Women's Heart Health Centre. The recommendation before us is that council proclaim February 13, 2022 as Wear Red Canada Day in the city of Trail. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women worldwide and the leading cause of premature death in women in Canada. And this proclamation day on February 13th is in recognition of that. And with the recommendation, I would also like to add that we make our Victoria Street Bridge lights red if this proclamation is adopted as recommended.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Do I have someone to second that recommendation? Councillor Santori, thank you very much. Do I have any questions on this matter? Okay, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried, thank you very much. Okay, so item 4.1 and 4.2 deal with the bylaws, deal with bylaws associated with the public hearing that we just had today. And Ms. McIsaac, I'm going to turn the floor over to you for comment.
Thank you, Your Worship. As indicated, a public hearing was just held with respect to the zoning bylaw amendment, bylaw number 2910, and the official community plan bylaw amendment, bylaw number 2911. Council did hear from the applicant as well as a number of respondents of the Birchwood Drive and DeVito Drive areas who were expressing concern with respect to the impacts of this development. It is a council policy that council will defer third reading of a zoning bylaw if objections and concerns are raised at public hearing, so that they can have an opportunity to discuss said objections or concerns raised. Given the input that was received at tonight's meeting, it would be recommended that council defer third reading in order to enable staff to bring back some summary reporting for your consideration, and to advance with the bylaw review in January at the January 10th regular council meeting. There would be summary reporting prepared for council's consideration. If council does agree to defer, I just do want to provide a cautionary note that now that the public hearing has closed, it is very important that neither council hear from the applicant or any of the respondents with respect to this matter. So if the decision to defer third reading to allow for some staff reporting to be prepared is given tonight, I do want both the applicant of this zoning amendment and OCP amendment and any respondents to the public hearing to be cognizant that council can receive no further representations from the public with respect to this matter. So any concern, any items that you may think of following would need to be flowed through administration and could be raised in the reporting if considered necessary.
Counselor Santori, did you have your hand up there?
Just a question on process, Michelle. I totally understand that council shouldn't be conferring with the people that voice concerns or the developer himself. However, if council has questions relating to the developer and wanting possibly more detailed drawings, green space, etc., will staff then go through the process of, will you be able to obtain that, I would hope, from the developer and then present it to council?
So if there is any particular information requirements that council would have that would be suited at the time of land use planning decisions. So just to clarify what I mean by that is some of the decisions that might be made by the developer would happen after a rezoning or the OCP amendment has been finalized and further planning and architectural work is in place. So as long as the information that council would be seeking is pertinent to this early stage of planning, then yes, please do advance any questions through to me, and I can seek information from the developer. And when the reporting comes back to council, both the applicant and any of the respondents to the public hearing would have access to that information because it will be provided in our agenda materials for the regular council meeting.
Okay.
No, I don't mean to make this more difficult than it is. Maybe I'm not understanding it. So our decision with respect to zoning and any questions we may have must be limited to the zoning request only and has nothing to do, or we can't take into consideration any details with respect to the planning, because personally, I'm not speaking yay or nay for it at this time, but either way, until such time as I know what the plan is, it's pretty hard to zone something if you don't know exactly what's going there.
It's yeah, I think the questions that you may have though relate to the land use planning applications that are before council.
Okay.
And so as long as you're not wanting to know what the price point is going to be, which isn't a land use decision.
No, I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Thank you. You answered my question, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Okay, so just suggest send the questions to staff and Ms. McIsaac will get the details as she is able to in advance of the next meeting. So it is recommended by staff at this point that the decision be deferred to get more summary reporting for council to consider, and that would be at the January 10th meeting. Councillor Jones, did I see your hand being raised there? Did you have a question?
No, I was going to make the motion to defer it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
To get more information.
Okay, thank you. And your second, Councillor Santori, thank you very much. Is there any other questions or comments on this before we go for a vote? No? Okay, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried. Thank you very much. So for those who are joining us, all the attendees, either in the council chamber room or the attendees on Zoom, you are free to leave. You do not have to stay with us. There will be no further discussion on this matter until we reconvene at the January 10th meeting. So for those of you who are leaving us, thank you very much. Thanks for coming and spending your time with us and speaking to us, and have a nice holiday season. Okay, we move on to item number 4.3, which is our garbage and waste bylaw, amendment bylaw number 2912, 2021. And this is adoption. And Ms. McIsaac, I will turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is an amending bylaw. Council had considered reporting prepared by staff with respect to the utility budgets, the water, sewer, and garbage budgets for the city in 2022. This bylaw enacts the garbage fee and sets it into play. Our staff are at work preparing for the issuance of the 2022 utility funds bylaw. So the utility invoices. And so with the adoption of this garbage bylaw, and to follow will be the waterworks and sanitary sewer, we would then be able to have those rates set in place and have the issuance of the invoices follow very shortly in the new year. And so it is being recommended that the garbage and waste bylaw amendment, bylaw number 2912, be adopted.
Okay, do I have someone to make that motion? Counselor Dobie, do I have someone to second? Counselor Santori, thank you very much. Any questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Carried, thank you. 4.4 is the Waterworks and Sanitary Sewer Regulation Bylaw Amendment Bylaw 2913, 2021 for adoption. Ms. McIsaac, did you want to speak to this, or have you covered off both in your last communication?
I think I did cover it off. This is the companion document, so sets out the waterworks and sewer charges for the year of 2022.
Right, okay, thank you very much. And do I have someone to make the motion to adopt the Waterworks and Sanitary Sewer Regulation Bylaw? Councillor Gattafoni Robinson, thank you very much. Do I have someone to second? Councillor Butler, thank you very much. Any questions on this matter? No, okay, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried, thank you. Okay, item 4.5 is our council procedure bylaw, amendment bylaw 2914, 2021, first, second, and third readings. And this is regarding electronic meetings. Ms. McIsaac?
Thank you, Worship. Earlier in the fall, staff brought forward some reporting for council's consideration in light of changes that have been made to the provincial regulations around the holding of meetings, council meetings by electronic means. And it is being recommended, and council did support, a change that would allow for a hybrid approach to our meetings, whereby council members and staff can participate both in person and electronically, and we will continue to utilize the Zoom platform, which provides an increased level of transparency and accessibility for the public. But with that said, it was necessary for us to make some minor amendments to our council procedure bylaw in order to allow for all meetings of council to be held electronically. Previously, the legislation provided only that special meetings of council could be held by electronic means. So this will broaden the opportunity for the use of electronic meetings, but as a best practice, we are certainly moving towards in-person meetings. We just need to improve the audio and video capacities in our council chambers to kind of reconvene all in person. So it is being recommended that council proceed with first, second, and third readings of the council procedure bylaw amendment bylaw. We will then do the required advertising that is required when we are making an amendment to the council procedure bylaw, and bring the bylaw back for you for adoption in January.
Councillor Santori, move that. Do I have someone to second it? Councillor Butler, thank you. Is there any comments or questions on this? Councillor Santori, and you're on mute. You're still on mute.
There we go.
There.
Question to Michelle. Michelle, with respect to this bylaw, procedural bylaw, will the public be able to access the council meetings by Zoom even once the pandemic has been declared over, if that day ever comes? Or is this just until such time? In other words, when they lift all the restrictions and the council chambers are open, do we go back to the old-fashioned way, or will the public still have access via Zoom if they so choose?
It is our hope and our intention to be in a position to continue to provide opportunity for the Zoom meetings. Because there is that increased level of accessibility, people can attend if they choose from the comfort of their home. They don't have to come down to City Hall. They can also, because we have the recordings available that we post to our YouTube site, they can view it at their leisure. So it is our hope, provided that we can get the council chambers set up in a way whereby there's very good audio and video capabilities there. It is our hope to continue with the Zoom platform while we move into an in-person meeting process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Michelle, we've had a move and a second on that, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. No other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, if any? Carried, thank you. Okay, so we're moving into council committee reports, and Councillor Santori, you are first.
Okay, I'll give my report, and then I'm going to have to excuse myself following my report, if that's okay with council.
Sure.
On today's GOC meeting, we had two delegations. Our first delegation was Frank Marino, Linda Sachenko, and Min Watt from the Lower Columbia Community Health Center. The purpose of their presentation was to bring council up to date on an initiative whereby they are looking at the formation of a community health center. This is, there are, I believe they said 17 community health centers around the province. The full report or the full presentation is available online, so I won't get into any detail, but it is a key initiative that will look at bringing in, making it easier to draw more doctors, more specialists into the area. What's the word I'm looking for? A number of medical professionals into the area. Council heard the presentation, and at the conclusion did pass a motion to provide a letter of support. They also went to the regional district, and they received a letter of support from the regional district. They will now proceed to making presentations to all of the other communities in the region, and then their plan is probably to expand further and meeting with other groups in order to further inform the community of what the Community Health Center Initiative is all about. The second presentation today was from Samantha Murphy and some of the board members who provided a budget for the 2022 year. And also we had Sarah Benson Lord from Archives and Museum, who provided a very comprehensive overview of the year in terms of the programs that they have offered and some of the other initiatives, the success of the Trophy Town video, which sold out in 8 days. Also, the other highlight was that the gift shop is providing a considerable amount of revenue, as many of the souvenirs are leaving the building quite quickly. They have also managed, despite a lot of the problems that we've experienced and limits that we've had with COVID, have managed to carry out as many programs as they possibly could, both the library as well as the museum and archives. Moving on, there was a request for the shared seniors coordinator position to increase the budget from 6,000 to 16,000. This was an initiative that was initially funded by Columbia Basin Trust. Again, because of COVID, there was limited development of this program, but there were some programs that were carried out and were quite well received by those seniors who participated. Council did agree on increasing the budget given the limited services that the seniors have with the closure of the Senior Citizen Center, and council felt that this was a necessary initiative for our seniors. So that was approved by council. Next is the arena refrigeration maintenance services. It went out for bid. There were 3 bids that came in. The successful bidder was Yeti Refrigeration, an amount of about approximately $55,000. The other 2 bids exceeded $60,000. Under General Government and Finance, council approved $10,000 to the Community Safety task force, whereby that money will then be allocated to the Trail Community Action Team's initiative, which is the Respect and Connect campaign. And finally, the City of Trail City Council agreed to renew their Regional District of Kootenay Boundary Planning Agreement for a total of approximately $2,100 or $2,200 for a 5-year term. Those were the only items on the GOC, and therefore concludes my report, Your Worship.
Councillor Santori, I just want to make one note. So with respect to the grant for the community action team for $10,000, the
Yep.
motion coming out of the task force last week was that quarterly reports also be provided to council. So that wasn't explicitly captured in today's motion, but I just want to let you know that that direction was provided so that there's some accountability for the funds. And I would imagine that that would just be put forward to the community action team as far as a letter goes. You know, as a point of doing business, I understand that you have to go, but we have to reconvene into closed after this. Are you going to join us in about 20 minutes when we?
Yeah, I only have to go for about 15 minutes. I have to do something, and I might be even less
Okay,
than that.
okay, that's fine. That's great.
I
I'm
won't
providing.
sign off. I'll just mute myself and I will return.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Santori. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And if you want to turn off your camera too, you might want to do that. Okay, thank you. Councillor Jones, you're next with your report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Payson. I actually don't have any council committee reports. I do have a couple of events that I wanted to report on that I attended. On December 6th, I attended the National Day of Remembrance and Action to End Violence Against Women. If people remember that on December 6, 1989, a man entered the School of Engineering at the École Polytech in Montreal. And there he separated the women from the men, and he individually murdered the 14 young women and then shot himself. And so for 41 years now, we've continued to remember these women. And each year, the Violence Against Women in Relationships Committee from FAIR, they gather and do a celebration of these women, a remembrance of them. And this year it was really important to remember these women and and become instruments for change ourselves. So, and I also wanted to thank the City of Trail for making the bridge red in memory of these women. And it seems kind of ironic that I would report on this event that I attended, and then the following day our MLA Katrina Conroy was attacked and knocked down as she walked home from the legislator that night after work. I did reach out to her office in Castlegar to see how she was doing, and I'm being told that she's doing well considering what she's been through. I wanted to report on that because I think it's important for our community to know how well she's doing. On December 10th, I attended the training by Ryan J. Dowd, the Community Guide to Homeless training, Respect and Connect with our vulnerable population, a 4-hour workshop for anyone and everyone in the community that could attend it. And I thought the information was very helpful, easy to follow. For those that don't know, Ryan Dowd has spent his career running the second largest homeless shelter in Illinois, and he is also the founder of the Homeless Training Institute. I know that these programs have been mentioned by our library staff before, so I found it very interesting to take part in it, and they continue to take his workshops as well. This workshop has really improved the understanding of the homeless community and their ability to communicate with these individuals on a regular basis. A fun event that I attended this weekend was the incredible last-minute Christmas market at the Juanita Mall, the farmers market. And I just want to say that it actually was incredible. There were so many vendors, so many different crafts, amazing artwork, and so many people there. It was just great to see that excitement at the mall. The parking lot was full. You actually couldn't find a parking space. So that was been a long time since we've been able to do that at the Juanita Mall, I have to say. The stores were busy. Lineups at the food court was great to see. And it was just so good to see everybody out and enjoying the farmers market. So I just want to say a big thank you to all the vendors and the volunteers that took part in that. And it was a really, really great event. And I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday and stay safe and healthy. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Counselor Jones? No. Okay, Counselor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. On behalf of council, I attended the following meetings and events. On December 1st, I attended the Trail Community Action Team monthly meeting. On December 2nd, the Community Safety Task Force meeting. On December 6th, along with Councillor Jones, the National Day of Remembrance. And thank you, Councillor Jones, for your report on that. December 7th, I attended the advisory meeting with the Southeast District with Staff Sergeant Berndred. December 9th was followed with the RCMP follow-up meeting that was requested by Minister Farnsworth from this year's UBCM. And finally, along with some others, I attended the virtual workshop on the Community Guide to Homelessness training. That is my report. Thank you, Your Worship.
Great. Thank you, Counselor Butler. Any questions for Counselor Butler? Hearing none. Counselor Dobie, go ahead. Oh, and you're on mute.
Okay, I have quite a few things to report, so I'm going to go quickly on the first few because they've already been mentioned by Paul Butler, Councillor Butler and Councillor Jones. But I did attend as an observer, the Community Task Force meeting, and I think that was December the 2nd. And December the 10th, I attended the 4-hour presentation by Ryan Dowd. And I have to say, I learned an awful lot. And as Councillor Jones mentioned, he made the presentation very simple to follow. Unfortunately, I had to leave at the last half hour. I had another commitment, so I only got 3.5 hours, but it opened my eyes to a lot of options in how we're managing our community. I had a Community in Bloom meeting and quite a few things went through the meeting, so I'll try to be quick about this. We've had 3 requests for more murals, and one is to go on the side of the old Remax building, the side that faces the A&W. There's a group that's going to take that on, and they've approached Community in Blooms for some guidance and ideas and trying to keep with the themes that we have developed so far with the murals and trail. Sergeant Wazintowicz has indicated that the police station would be interested in having a mural on their south wall. So we're going to be trying to work with him on that as well. The 20th anniversary of Community in Bloom is coming up next year. We'd like to be able to put out some special signs in review of that, and we'll be coming forward, I guess, sometime in the new year, early spring, to present those ideas to council. We're also working on identifying an identification plaque that we're hoping to put at the bottom of the main long stairs out of the Memorial parking lot that goes up to Tech, and we are working with Tech on that. I don't think there's ever been anything put up there, and they're hoping to have something that's going to be quite informative, especially when tourists are in the area. Okay. The other issue, of course, was the Saturday market. And I think the accolades that we've been receiving online and from the people that were in attendance was just absolutely over the top and unreal. And saying that this is an incredible edible group, they're incredible in many aspects. They're incredible for what they do and the number of volunteers that support to make these things are very successful. The 2-day event, a lot of our vendors were very, very low on their products by the end of Saturday. So I don't think there was quite as much to offer at some of the vendors. We had 80 vendors, and we also supported a lot of other groups that came in. We had a young girls baseball team in the area that came in and offered to do gift wrapping. We supported the Trail and District Hospice Society. I believe they had a vendor there, or they were just outside of the Zellers, right into the entrance of the mall. They were in one of the two locations. The United Food Bank represented themselves there. The Remax Toy Drive was represented there, Kiwanis, and we had the West Kootenai Eco Society and the Central Kootenai Environment and Species Society. So for the 2 days, we totaled 5,300 people in attendance. And as you've already heard from Councillor Jones, the parking lot was completely jammed. I think they're already starting to work. I spoke to Gina this morning, and they're already starting work on next year's Christmas market. And of course, a lot of that will depend, the location will depend on whether or not the building area will still be available or whether a new business has moved into there. So I think that pretty well concludes my report. I do have more reporting on this issue at our closed council meeting. Thank you, Mayor Payson.
Great, thanks, Councillor Dobie. Is there any questions of Councillor Dobie tonight? No? Okay, we'll move on. Councillor Gattafoni Robinson.
Yeah, most of us have been in the same spots. I also attended the community task force meeting, and I also was privy to the webinar on Community Guide to Homelessness with this Ryan, I don't know how to say his last name, Duo. Anyways, I thought he was very interesting, and I really, the time just seemed to fly by. And those are my reports, Your Worship. And I like to also, like Councillor Jones, wish everybody a happy holiday season.
Great, thank you, Councillor Gattafoni Robinson. Is there any questions for Councillor Gattafoni Robinson? Seeing none. Okay, so just briefly before I provide my year-end mayoral address, so multiple meetings that I attended this month involved CDS, Community Safety Task Force, Trail Community Action Team, the RCMP, and social housing, with the intention to strengthen the services provided to vulnerable citizens in our community. I did attend the Respect and Connect seminar. Two things I wanted to note off that. It was excellent. There is going to be more coming our way, organized through Trail Cat and the multiple partners they have on this. It is free to anyone in our community, and you can register. So please watch out for that. I really encourage you to. It was really educational, and the presentation was just excellent. Councillor Dobie, you probably missed it because you clicked off for the last half an hour, but the Zoom link they sent you is still active for this week. So yes, if you wanted to go back on and go forward and watch that last half an hour, you can, to finish off the seminar.
Yeah, I made note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I want to backtrack to November 29th because I attended the Salvation Army Kettlebell Kickoff. I really encourage our community to support those who need assistance this holiday season and throughout the year. And the Salvation Army's work is just but one way to ensure families in need have basic food and gifts through this holiday season. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the cities of Trail and Rossland were awarded the BC Winter Games in 2026. And I would like to extend a thank you to our local bid committee, who the main persons involved with that were city staff, namely our Parks and Rec departments in Rossland and Trail, who really did the heavy lifting putting this bid together, and obviously did an excellent job, and we've been awarded the games in 2026. So thank you very much on that. And now I'm just going to take a few minutes and provide our 2021 year-end mayoral address. So here we go. As 2021 comes to an end, there's renewed hope as we continue to move through the COVID-19 pandemic and return to our new normal. This is a time of year to acknowledge our successes and those who have worked tirelessly to ensure the City of Trail continues to move forward, as well as highlight the areas of focus for 2022. Once again, City of Trail employees continue to provide exceptional support and service to our entire community. Your dedication to the safety of our city throughout the pandemic has been outstanding. On behalf of myself and all of council, I wish to extend my sincerest gratitude to all employees of the City of Trail for their commitment to the city during 2021. Despite the many challenges that COVID-19 has presented, city employees adapted and persevered and continued to deliver the extensive portfolio of services that our citizens are accustomed to and rely on. The pandemic accentuated social issues that are increasingly prevalent across the province and nation, including gaps in support for our most vulnerable citizens. When this council was elected 3 years ago, I do not think any of us could have anticipated the strain that the opioid, mental health, housing crises, as well as the onset of a pandemic would have placed on our community. I wish to thank all our community members and partners who approach those who are most disadvantaged with the lens of compassion, patience, and tolerance. Your collective efforts to help and manage these ongoing issues is appreciated. For those who wrote letters to lobby higher levels of government agencies for enhanced support for our community, we thank you and encourage those efforts into 2022. Progressive improvements to the city's infrastructure remains a commitment to the city through the Public Works Department. Infrastructure is a core component of providing a safe, livable city for our residents to enjoy. Major projects completed include the Violin Lake and Cambridge Dam decommissioning project, which restored these areas to their natural state and proactively mitigated risk of flooding. This project was completed in partnership with the Provincial Dam Safety Program, BC Fish and Wildlife, BC Ministry of Forest, Lands and Natural Resources, local First Nations, and 2 local forestry groups. The $1 million Green Avenue infrastructure project has been completed, replacing not only the road, but the buried infrastructure. This project became necessary after a major failure of a water main. We thank the residents of West Trail for their patience as this project was completed. We are very happy that full access to West Trail via Green Avenue is once again restored. To support families in our community and use of our green spaces, multiple park and playground improvements occurred, including the Haley Park Ball Diamond infield improvements and swing set replacements at the B Street, Upper Sunningdale, Popel, and Ostad Lane parks. Areas of focus moving into 2022 include the $1.59 million Butler Park Stadium Lighting and Safety Netting project and ongoing improvements to the city's water and sewer systems, which will focus on improving water system reliability by replacing critical water system components and performing trenchless sewer main repairs through many areas of the city. The Parks and Recreation Department continues to be an area of great importance for our city. The administrative team at Parks and Rec led the complex process for COVID-19 response and recovery for the city. Ongoing evaluation and adjustments to services to align with public health order requirements has been an all hands on deck effort in maintaining and managing the ever-changing landscape of COVID-19. Major projects and initiatives completed for this department include a $600,000 roof replacement at the Trail Aquatic and Leisure Center. Continued investment in the city's recreational facilities with projects such as this is critical for asset preservation. The Butler Park tennis and pickleball court rebuild. Providing safe outdoor recreation is a priority for the city, and we are thrilled that this project has been completed for the enjoyment of the many, many pickleball and tennis players in our region. The Trail Memorial Center Library, or the Trail Memorial Center Old Library retrofit, occurred with the assistance of a $672,000 grant received from the Federal Provincial Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream. This multipurpose space will now allow the city and third parties to host indoor recreational activities, meetings, or other community gatherings and events. As we look forward, the Parks and Recreation Department will continue to manage impacts of COVID-19 on recreation and the ultimate recovery of services, including support of all facility users, including individuals, organizations, minor sport, and adult sport. The City of Trail and the Beaver Valley Parks Recreation and Trail Service successfully negotiated a 5-year agreement for recreation services, which provides residents of the Beaver Valley and the City of Trail unfettered access to recreation services across our communities. The city is very proud to provide a comprehensive suite of recreation services for citizens across the Kootenai boundary, and we encourage you to all come and recreate with us. The administration and airport departments cannot be overlooked when considering the full scope of services offered by the city. We are grateful for our partnership with Pacific Coastal Airlines and are happy to see passenger counts steadily increasing at the Trail Regional Airport. Having reliable air access is vital for economic recovery for our region as we work together to overcome the impacts of COVID-19. Providing access and fuel for aircraft during forest fire season is of critical importance, as is Medivac services for KBRH, our regional hospital. The recruitment for a new Chief Administrative Officer is underway, and we look forward to welcoming a new member to our team. Until then, I wish to extend a heartfelt thank you to our staff who continue to step forward and fill the vacated roles. Your commitment to the city and its operations is a true testament to your character and singular devotion to ensuring the city remains successful and strong. The city-owned property at 898 Victoria Street was sold with plans for a Dairy Queen Grill and Chill restaurant to be built. We look forward to the positive benefits that this will provide for our community, including creation of employment opportunities. And as we transition into 2022, the focus of the Trail Regional Airport will be to foster the recovery of local air transportation and perform a full-scale emergency training exercise. Administration will continue to support the recruitment of new staff and update the official community plan, which was temporarily put on hold due to the impacts of COVID-19 associated with the public input process. We have much to look forward to in the future. Silver City Days is expected to return in May 2022, pending provincial restrictions, and Trail and Rosslyn have been awarded the 2026 BC Winter Games. As we return to a new normal with local health order restrictions being lifted, we all look forward to a higher level of community engagement with our fellow citizens. Reconnection with our friends, family, colleagues, and loved ones is long overdue and will be welcome. We are a strong and resilient community. Thank you for doing your part in making the trail, thank you for doing your part in making Trail the best it can be. My New Year's resolutions and wishes that I share with you are to shop local and support our local businesses. Their recovery is dependent on our collective commitment to rebuild our local economy. Say thank you to each other and to all frontline and healthcare workers. Stay safe by respecting and adhering to all public health orders and recommendations, and support each other through this challenging time. We are all in this together. So with that, I wish everyone the best of the holiday season and also a wonderful 2022. Thank you. The next item on our meeting agenda is the consent agenda. So report on invoices paid for municipal services, November 1st to 30th, 2021, and a letter of appreciation from the KBRH Health Foundation. The recommendation is that the items on the consent agenda be received for information. Do I have someone to make that recommendation?
So moved.
Sorry, was that Councillor Santori or Councillor Butler? I couldn't really hear. Butler? Okay, do I moved, and then do I have someone to second that?
I'll second.
Councillor Santori, thank you very much. Any questions on these items? No, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried, thank you. Any new business from the floor? Councillor Doby, go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to put a motion on the floor, please, that a letter be sent from Mayor and Council to Gina Ironmonger and her volunteers for a most successful first winter market. I think this was mentioned before, but just in case some people aren't aware, it was the largest indoor Christmas market in the Kootenays.
Thank you. That's a great idea. Do I have someone to second that
I'll
letter
second.
of thanks? Counselor
I
Gutwin?
will.
Oh, we'll give that one to Counselor Gattafoni Robinson. That's fine. Okay, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried. Thank you. The next item is the department reports, is the Bylaw Enforcement Department report for November 2021. And the recommendation is that this report be received for information.
So move.
Counselor Gattafoni Robinson, do I have someone to second that? Counselor Dobie, thank you very much. Any questions on this report? No? Okay, all in favor? Against, if any? Carried. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call for adjournment. Happy holidays to everyone out there in our community.